show some respect.
I guess the toes tapping, Natalie, doesn't it?
I know, it really does.
Lovely. Welcome back.
Love
Just
it.
gone 12 noon this Thursday lunchtime. It's Jim White, Natalie Sawyer and Glenn Johnson on TalkSPORT. I don't like cricket. I love it. Does he love it? Let's find out from the man who wrote it. He's with us now. 10cc star Graham Gouldman. Fantastic to have you on board, Graham.
Thank you. My pleasure. Absolute pleasure.
Do you like cricket?
Well, no, I don't like it. I love it, actually. Sorry about that.
I should have listened, shouldn't I?
Here's the ironic thing, though. I have never been to a cricket match.
Oh.
And I've got friends who are big cricket fans. In fact, Sir Tim Rice is a friend of mine, and I've sort of hinted once or twice that maybe he could find a way to take me along to cricket, but it's never actually happened. But I'd love to go. If anyone would like to take me.
I think your hints need to be a bit more obvious then.
Yes, I do.
I'm just looking at producer Joe at the moment. Joe, we could set Graham up. You fancy going to a cricket match with Lord Geoffrey Archer?
I'd do that, yes.
We do that?
Yeah.
Because Geoffrey was on this morning. It was sad news yesterday, Graham, the passing of Bob Willis.
Yes, I heard about that, yes.
Fantastic man. Natalie and I got to know him. We're very fortunate getting to know him at Sky,
I was
Sky
watching
Sports.
a whole montage of all the, his successes and terrible loss.
Just 70 years of age was Bob, but a lovely man. So there we go. When we come off here, we might just get in touch with Lord Geoffrey.
Okay.
He does the talking if you go for lunch, incidentally.
All right. Okay.
Your ears
actually,
are-
I did meet him many years ago. We actually did an interview together for. I cannot remember what it was for, but I think he talked then.
Brilliant. You know everybody. Am I right in thinking you've just come off tour with Ringo Starr?
I wouldn't say I've just come off tour with Ringo Starr, but I did 2 tours with him last year in America and in all over Europe.
And he requested you to join him?
Yes, he did. Yeah, and it was a thrill. It's called Ringo Starr and his All-Star Band. And what happens is Ringo does about 12 numbers, and we all the band members play on his songs, and then each of the sort of all-stars do 3 songs each, and we play on each other's songs. There was Steve Lukather was there, Colin Hay, Warren Ham, great band, Greg Rowley, terrific, and Greg Bissonnet was the other drummer.
And I was just going to say, Natalie, I know you're kind of contemporaries, but are even you in awe of Ringo Starr?
Yeah.
Of course I'm in awe of Ringo Starr. I wouldn't be sat here today talking to you if it wasn't for him and the Beatles. It's as simple as that. They inspired me and a whole generation. I was actually at Abbey Road yesterday, and we said the same thing. I was actually mastering a new album that I've got coming out early next year, and I was talking to the guy we were doing the mastering with, and I said I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them.
And Ringo's on the album.
He is on the album. Yeah, he does. He plays on the first track, the opening track. And it's a song about that I wrote after coming off the road with him. That I wrote about the whole experience of how it came about and the experience of being on the road with him, and it was great.
Fantastic. Well, 10cc, I mean, when I heard you were coming in, I just used to think back at many of the hits, Graham. Did you think 10cc would be as successful as you were? Because you're enormous success and you're still having it.
Well, I don't think anybody, when you're actually doing it, you don't actually think, I'm going to be doing this in 10 years or 15 years. You're just enjoying what you're doing and being creative and doing it. And no, so the answer to the question is no.
Yeah.
No.
So how did it all work? When did you first get together?
We got together, we actually became 10cc in 72, but prior to that, for a few years, we'd worked as a kind of a house band in the studio that we were involved in. And we used to do all sorts of records, including, interestingly enough, football records.
Okay.
We did a record for Everton.
Wow.
We did one for Manchester City. One of them was called Boys in Blue. And I can't remember what the other one was called. City, Manchester City, we are the boys who are playing to win. And sometimes they still play it after when they've had a win.
Still
Are you
today.
looking at me in amazement?
No. I'm just thinking. Let's go on to Manchester City.
Yeah, find out.
Yeah. The fans will love
Well,
it.
that's another irony, I suppose, is that I've come from I'm a United supporter.
Yes.
So, but anyway, business is business.
Brilliant.
Absolutely.
Brilliant. So, who were the brains in the band then? It was a good
brains.
sell, because
Obviously, it was me. Yeah.
Yes.
No, it was actually the original band was one of that great combination of four people who made something really extra special when they came together, and it wouldn't have been the same had it been a different personnel, I'm sure. But we all brought something different to the table. We had our influences that were common to all of us, but we all had different influences as well, and that combination made 10cc what it was.
Yeah. And you were immense. I mean, everybody, you know what I'm going to say, Graham. Glenn, you'll have heard it in the car. You've heard it throughout your life. I'm not in love.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, tell me about that, because this was a monster global hit.
Yeah, well, this was a song that I wrote with Eric Stewart, and we talked about writing a ballad for a long time, but thought maybe it was a bit naff, just to do a straight love song. But Eric came up with the great title, which was I'm Not in Love. And it was like a lot of the best songs I've ever been involved with. It was written very, very quickly. And we recorded it. We didn't like the recording, so we recorded it again with a different rhythm. And Kevin came up with the idea of maybe doing it just with voices, no instrumentation at all. But we had to put a rhythm track down for us to sing to. And then the idea was that we'd do all the voices and take the rhythm track off. But even when we did the rhythm track, there was something very magical about it, and we obviously kept that. And it's I suppose that's the song that will always be remembered for. But we've done lots of other stuff as well.
But this is the thing though. When you write a song, are you there going, "This is a hit. We know this is going to be good."
For the song to be finished, it has to have something about it that you like. But I don't think any of us realise once we recorded it how commercial it was. Mm. But we knew it was something special. In fact, we used to turn the lights off in the control room and just lie on the floor and play it back to ourselves. So we obviously thought it was good. But it was only actually when we started playing it to our family and friends and the record company, they all said that could be a big hit.
Yeah. I mean, that's one I would have thought, not that we'll ever know, that Lennon and McCartney would have been proud of.
Well, that's very kind of you to say so.
I mean, just
that's
colossal.
A real compliment, thank you.
Graham, this is what we get here. There's Mick and Berry. Jim, tell Graham City play the boys in blue before every game.
There you go.
There you go.
See?
Graham, it's great having you on board. When we come back, if you've just joined us, Graham Gouldman is with us this lunchtime, a star of 10cc, one of my favourite bands. So many great hits. I'm Not in Love. We've just been talking about it. The things we do for love. It gets your feet tapping right away, Natalie. Listen to that. I'm shattering this very sensitive technical equipment. And when we come back, lots more on the songs that Graham has written that really nobody knew that Graham has written. It's great stuff. Graham Gouldman is with us this lunchtime. So too is Glenn Johnston and Natalie Sawyer, myself, Jim White on TalkSPORT. There you go. If you're a fan of the Yardbirds, if you're a fan of 10cc, you've come to the right place, because Natalie, Glenn and myself have been joined this lunchtime by 10cc star Graham Gouldman, who of course wrote Heart Full of Soul, the Yardbirds. Yeah. Graham, it's just instantly recognisable. I mean, must be proud of that.
Very proud of it, and a great record. And of course the guitarist on that is the great Jeff Beck.
Oh, no.
Don't get any better than Jeff Beck.
No. Is he the best?
For me, he is, yeah. Because he encompasses everything. I mean, he can play sort of rock, jazz, blues, anything he likes, and it's always superb. And he's got a very distinctive sound. I always recognise his playing.
Graham, I'm sure you agree with me when you think of the Yardbirds. Not a bad lineup, Glenn. You'll have heard Eric Clapton, of course, Jimmy Page.
Yeah.
I mean...
they had the three best, probably the best British guitarists of all time in that band.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at that lineup, you're right. Yeah. Was there anything ever better than a lineup like that? You would probably say the Beatles, maybe the Stones, is up there with them. But a lineup like that...
Yeah, it's fantastic. But really, for me, and of course millions of other people like me, who were inspired by the Beatles and would say that I wouldn't be doing what I do now, even now, if it wasn't for them.
Am I right in thinking, Heartful of Soul, when you were writing, you were only about 15, or were you older?
No, I was a bit older than that. I was 19, actually. Not that old, but still 15.
Still,
Yeah,
19.
yeah.
But is
19.
it?
Yeah,
But were you spotted at a young age?
Yeah, I guess I started writing really because I was sort of inspired by the Beatles. I was in a band with Kevin Godley called the Mockingbirds in Manchester, and we wanted to make a record, but normally what you would do then is come to London, go to Denmark Street where all the music publishers were and ask for a song. And anyway, no one would give us a song. So that kind of inspired me to start writing.
I love the fact that you worked with Ringo Starr so recently.
Yeah.
He's a fitness fanatic, you were telling
He
us.
is. He's a really fit guy. He watches his diet. He goes to the gym every day. Really looks after himself. And he looks great.
It's like everything else. Footballers, Glenn, talk to footballers, and because you trust each other.
Yeah.
You know, you're in the same industry. Does that apply to music, Graham?
Yeah.
That Ringo's totally relaxed because people like yourself are around him. If we were there, he'd probably not speak as openly.
Well, we obviously musicians have a lot in common and can talk a lot about music, and particularly if you're songwriting, that we talk about what methods we use and all that sort of thing. And I suppose if you're a sportsman, then you're going to be talking sport with your fellow sportsmen and women.
Yeah. But he would feel comfortable in your company.
Oh,
and that's mutual.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, I mean, there was something that we were both, although he's slightly older than me, but we were both, he's obviously from Liverpool and I'm from Manchester. So there's a sort of a northern commonality between us, I think, that we got on very well indeed. But having said that, I wrote this song that's the opening track on the new album that's called Standing Next to Me, and that was what it was like, that I was actually, because when he would come to the front of the stage, he stood right next to me, and I'm playing away, and I'm looking over, I'm going, oh, bloody hell, it's Ringo Starr. And I think, I've been in this business for a long time and, met lots of people, but I must say there was something about meeting Ringo and McCartney as well, which was many years ago.
Yeah.
There's just something about them. They were so important to me in what I'm doing. I owe them.
So those are the two that I guess you could say you were awestruck by.
Yeah. I'm actually still glad that I feel that way.
Yeah. Have you ever stopped to think what it must be like to be one of the remaining living Beatles? Like either McCartney or Ringo, and what they go through in a day.
Yes, well, I got a sort of taste of it by spending time with Ringo and travelling with him, But he was actually very down to earth, very down to earth guy. So occasionally you would forget who you were talking to, but it didn't take long before that came back again. Yeah.
He would have great respect for you, I'm sure, and what you guys have achieved. At
Well,
10cc, everybody knows you.
Well, he actually, with my new album coming out, and also we're doing this Heartful of Songs tour, which starts next March.
Yes, I'm going to get to that. You're all over the place with that.
I actually, because of that, I asked him if he would kindly give me a quote, to say what it was like working with me, and that I was going to use for the promotion of the album. And he wrote something really, really nice. So I have to thank him for that.
Brilliant. Wonderful. We'll get to that tour because I know that's up and coming.
Yeah.
One thing stuck out there, many things have stuck out in my mind since you started speaking. Graham, the thought process, the flow when you're writing, is it still the same as it was when you were much younger? When you were 19, penning Heartful of Soul, for the Yardbirds, is the flow still the same? Yeah, the mechanics are just the same. It's all a bit of a mystery, actually. You just sort of sit down with the guitar and then something. A lot of writers will say exactly the same thing. It's almost as if the song already exists and you're just channeling it and you're sort of accompanying it through your mind, and you can hear something, and even if you're working, say, because I do a lot of collaborating,
your writing partner comes up with a line, and then you know what the next thing is. It's just like comes out sometimes. So even the lyrics as well come out sort of fully formed, and there's some people think it's some sort of divine inspiration. I think it's more to do with the things that are going on in your subconscious that come out under the right circumstances.
Has there ever been a song that you've written, say, that then, I don't want to say you've given because it doesn't really work like that, but another band has then obviously played it and that's become their song that you've thought, wish I'd kept that?
Actually, no. I'm asked that quite a lot because there was a time when I was working with Kevin in the Mockingbirds, and the songs that we did of mine that we recorded, nothing happened to, but the ones I was giving away, some of them became quite big hits.
Yeah.
But I thought I was just happy that I was having hits. It didn't bother me. But I always enjoyed playing, and of course when we formed 10cc in 1972, that was when the four of us got to be songwriters, producers, performers, doing the whole thing, and it was brilliant.
You're a pretty good songwriter. He's a very good songwriter, Glenn.
Oh,
because in am I right? 2014 inducted into Songwriters Hall of Fame.
Yes.
I mean, that's a dream, isn't it?
There's some pretty heavy company in there, so that is an absolute honour.
Is that when you know, Graham, you quietly think, yeah, I made it?
Yeah, it is. It is it's a massive compliment.
It's good. Glenn Johnson, I'm looking at you. Would you not like to go down as someone who's written an iconic song? I'd love that. Are you not the guy, Glenn, who wrote Black?
Yeah, exactly,
Come on, 1, 2, 3. Wait a minute,
Glenn, you must have had was there ever FA Cup songs, anything like that you ever had the chance to be involved in?
What, to create, you mean?
Well, I mean, no, to be just even to sing on an album.
No.
Or a song.
No football records.
No, it's never never been on my radar. No.
Oh.
But I think for your benefit, I think. But no, I think, like you say, when you create those iconic songs, it's one of those things that they just don't age, do they? They just seem to hang around forever. And
I'm lucky, I guess.
Graham, everybody's responding to you. It's amazing. Lawrence on Twitter, Jim, Glenn, Natalie, loving listening to Graham here. The first single I bought in 1970 was "I'm a Neanderthal Man." I've met a few of them by a band called Hot Legs, the precursor to 10cc. Does Graham know that?
Yeah, of course I know it.
yeah.
Do I know it? Yeah.
I was 13 and I loved it. I loved all the 10cc songs, he says.
Yeah. Yes.
Did Graham write it, he says?
No, I didn't. No, Hot Legs was Eric, Lol Cream and Kevin Godley. And during that time, I was away writing in America. They'd made the record and it became a massive hit. And then we went on the road as Hot Legs for a very short tour. And I joined on bass, and then we sort of stuck together.
I love all the names of the different bands. It's just fantastic.
I love the fact you can remember it all with such
so
detail.
do I.
I think that's great. Bill, I think we threw the glass. I think we found that Manchester City song. Have we, Graham? Have a listen to it. This ring any bells?
City, Manchester City, we are the lads who are playing to win. City.
There you go.
Oh.
All right, Graham. It's fair to say you've written better ones, have you?
Well, as I said to you before, we wanted to bring business into the studio, but we actually really enjoyed doing that anyway. I mean, it was great when all the guys came into the studio to do to sing it, and we actually did help them a little bit as well.
Love it.
But it was a lot of fun.
Love it. Love hearing that. City fans. And looking at Twitter, they're responding. This is what we get in this show, Graham. We get immediate response. People are lapping it up. Let me tell you, life might not be so good in the blue side of Merseyside at the moment. It's our understanding the owner, Farhad Mashiri, now expected on Merseyside today. It's our understanding here at TalkSPORT that Marcus Silva will be going from Everton today. We don't want any manager to lose his job, but that is the latest that we are hearing this lunchtime. 10cc star Graham Gouldman is thrilling us this lunchtime. Glenn Johnson's with me, so too is Natalie, and we're going up to 12:30. He's even doing the drum beat. This is the man who wrote it, Graham Gouldman, star of 10cc. Natalie, the way you're acting there, I mean, you're in the mood for the Christmas party now, aren't you?
Oh, I know, definitely. Well,
Yeah.
I'm in the mood for a concert now with Graham. Absolutely.
Well,
Graham, you can do our music at the TalkSPORT Christmas gig too. We're probably a bit pricey for us. Graham Gouldman is with us this Thursday lunchtime. So too is Glenn Johnson, who's just told us what year he was born in. And Graham and I will never ever speak to Glenn again, publicly, socially, professionally, or in any way. 1984.
That's right, mate. 1984.
Look at him smiling,
I know.
Graham, as
He's
well.
all smug, isn't he?
Oh, he's all smug. Your next song's going to be called All Smug. Graham, terrific stuff. We're going to talk about your tour dates very soon, because a lot of people get in touch saying, Jim, Natalie, when do we see Graham? When will we hear from him? So many questions for you this lunchtime as well. And Graham, it would be remiss of me, because so many people love the music, know your music, and want answers to questions. John Graham, can you ask Graham, did he write the opening and closing music played at the famous Blinkers nightclub in the 60s? Before his 10cc days? I think he did, because I've got it on vinyl, says John Graham.
Actually, I didn't, but I know why he's connecting me with it, because it was written by Kevin Godley and Noel Cream, and they recorded it at Strawberry Studios, which was our studio. So I think that's why he's connected it to me.
There you go. Natalie, so many more. Could you please ask Graham if he's coming back to Home Firth Picture Dome anytime soon? No.
Oh.
Right. Any reason for that? He says, I first saw 10cc back in the early 70s. I still love their unique songs, both lyrically and melodically. But he's wondering, you're not going back
no,
there?
I don't think so. I mean, there are certain venues that we go back to and certain venues that we don't. It's actually, the reason is it's a bit too small for us. I know that sounds terribly big-headed, but that's the truth.
That's the demand. You need to go to bigger places.
Yeah. I mean, it's taken me too long to start reading some of them. They're coming in all the time. Graham Gouldman, he was such a big part when I was growing up. Loved his songs, loved his songwriting. Great listening to him here on TalkSPORT today. Do you have a particular favourite? That's
a really hard question, but when I was inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame, they ask you to sing, if you're a writer-performer, they ask you to sing one song. And the song I chose was Bus Stop, that I wrote for the Hollies.
Bus Stop, yeah.
Yeah.
You love that one. Bridge to Your Heart, Wax.
Yeah.
A lot of people loving that one. They say that's down to Graham as well, so it is it?
Well, that's a song I wrote with the late, great Andrew Gold. And we had a band called Wax during the 80s. We did 3 albums.
Lonely Boy.
Yeah. Andrew passed away in 2011.
Yeah.
But we had plans actually to do another Wax album right up to the time before he passed. But I've got fantastic memories of working with Andrew. He was an absolute genius.
Tell the story of Dreadlock Holiday. A lot of people are asking about that.
I was on holiday in Jamaica. I'd met someone there. I think we were in the hotel. I met someone at the bar and we were chatting away. He was a Jamaican guy, and I said, "What about sports?" I was talking about United and a little bit anyway about United. And I said, "What about cricket? Do you like it?" He said, "No, I don't. Not really." I said, "Oh, you surprised me." He said, "I don't like it. I love it." And right away, I went,
There's a song.
"Ding!" Going to use that. And when we started writing a sort of reggae song, Eric and I. There came a point in the song where this phrase came flying back into my head, and there it was. It became the chorus of that song.
Oh, it's terrific.
And I'm very happy for it, because it's followed me everywhere around the world, particularly when we go to Australia, which with 10cc, we're going to Australia next year again. And in fact, the last time we were there, talking about cricket, I met Graham Lilly, who's a cricket fan.
Yes, yeah.
And it was a pleasure to meet him. And he sent me a photograph of him that had about 10 photographs of him bowling. Sort of one, like sort of stop frames. And it's about 2 feet wide, this photograph, with all these photos and with his autograph on it. So I'm very proud to have that.
Terrific. You mentioned Bus Stop. Alan from Edmonton is asking, how old were you when you wrote that, and also Look Through Any Window?
I was 19.
So you went, okay, gosh,
Yeah.
19 to writing hits. That's
I
It's
find that
Dennis Lilly,
amazing.
isn't it? Not Graham Lilly. Is that right?
Derek.
No,
Dennis.
Dennis Lilly.
You're right.
Dennis,
Sorry,
I think
Dennis,
I said
yes.
Graham.
There was a Graham Dilly and a Dennis Lilly.
Really?
There's a title for you. Lily and Dilly
Well,
by
that's-
Graham Gouldman.
That's silly, isn't it?
That's great. Hey, there we go. You see, you're so far ahead of us. This is what I
There's
love.
the lyricist.
Graham, I know you love your football as well as your cricket. We're going to talk Manchester United. You got a story for me about Wenger. Did you meet him?
Yes, quite recently. I'm involved with Nordoff Robins, the Nordoff Robins charity, which has a big association with Arsenal Football Club. And I visited one of their centres in Highgate, and I noticed that there was an Arsenal plaque on the wall. And I said, well, what's the connection with Arsenal? And they told me. And they said, we've got we're honouring Arsene Wenger at a dinner. This was about 6 weeks ago. And would you like to come? I said, not only would I like to come, but my youngest son, Alex, is an absolutely mad Arsenal fan. And Arsene Wenger is a big hero of his. And they said, fine, we'll give you 2 tickets. And we walked into the event, and one of the girls from Nordoff Robin said, come on, we'll take you to meet Arsene Wenger. And the pleasure for me was actually watching Alex's face, meeting his hero. You know, it was great.
That's a lovely moment.
When you go
that.
home tonight, you can say to Alex, you met Glenn Johnson.
Yeah, I'm going to. I'm going to have a picture taken with him if he doesn't
Actually,
mind.
the fellow you came in with, who you're working with today, I'm waving to him through the glass with the cap on. He
Dave.
says, "Yeah, Dave." He said,
Yeah.
"That's Glenn Johnson through the glass."
Yeah.
Dave's a big Pompey fan.
Oh, is he?
Apparently,
Oh,
you
good
scored
man.
your best ever goal in a Portsmouth shirt.
Yeah, arguably, yeah.
Yeah, arguably. Yeah, there were more than a few. What one was it?
It was the chest and volley against Hull at
Yeah.
Fratton Park, yeah. It was a nice strike. It was a good one.
There you
One of
go.
the good ones. Jim.
You weren't wrong, Dave. Well, look at Dave. Double thumbs up for Glenn Johnson.
I must say that my eldest son Louis, he's a mad United supporter.
Yeah.
So we have a little bit of conflict going on,
well,
but
then,
it's
so
all.
how has
it's all
Alex become an Arsenal fan?
because his grandfather was an Arsenal fan. That's why.
You heard of them, Glenn? The Hollies. The
Haven't
Hollies.
they?
No.
No, sorry.
Born in 1984. Why would he? Graham Gouldman is with us, star of 10cc and one of the best songwriters in the business. In fact, Graham was inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame in 2014, and that is a personal favourite of many, Graham, from what I see going through the TalkSPORT Twitter feed at this stage.
Right.
So Graham is with us. It's lunchtime, Natalie, and Glenn is with us. We've got to talk football because Graham is a big United fan. And your love of Manchester United goes way back, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, my dad used to take me when I was a little lad. In fact, I think I saw the pre-Munich team. I must say, to be honest, it didn't actually last. But whenever I'm asked who I support, it's definitely United.
What do you remember vividly, most vividly of that time? Is it the crowds? Is it the roar of the crowd?
I think the crowd was a very important part of it. I don't think at that age I wasn't really taking much notice of what was going on in the field, to be honest with you. I just liked the atmosphere, though. It was a lovely atmosphere. But I saw some of the greatest players. I mean, I saw George Best, of course. I remember my dad used to come home from a match, and he'd almost talk in poetic terms about how George played, his movements and what he did. I mean, he was absolutely enamoured of him.
Yeah,
understandably.
One of the many brilliant things about Best, Graham, was that you never get, simulation didn't come into it. You touch him, he stays upright, keeps running at you.
Yeah, fantastic player, and I knew him a little bit as well because we used to go to the same clubs in Manchester.
So you bumped into him then?
Yeah, once
Well, of course, Manchester United, Natalie, got a very big one this weekend because of 5:30 kickoff. It's live on TalkSPORT. Manchester City, Manchester United. So, Glenn, what do you think? That has certainly enhanced all his chances of staying longer term at United. That win last night over Mourinho.
Yeah, it has. But personally, I think Mourinho motivated Man United more than Solskjaer did. That's probably that they were so desperate to probably get one over on him because obviously his last few months ended. I think that's what gave them to be under their bonnet more than their current manager. So, and obviously at the weekend, he's got obviously a massive rivalry, and that should also give the players the be under the bonnet. So, lucky for Solskjaer, he's got 2 games where he could get 2 good results.
Can you see a way of United winning this at the Etihad?
Yeah, in a derby at that level, obviously anything can happen, but clearly City will be the favourites. But I do think in a derby they will definitely get out of bed up for it and in the right mood. So, and obviously the United side, when they turn up, they can play. And City have been a bit hot and cold. So yeah, if United are ever going to win a derby, then this is their chance, I think.
I mean, Graham, if any United supporter in the land would want Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to survive because he has got legendary status at the football club.
Yes. To be honest with you, I'm not sure I'm really qualified to my depth of the ins and outs of the minutiae that you are discussing so brilliantly. I don't feel, to be honest with you, in your company, I can really join in at that level. But whatever happens, I obviously wish United all the best, and I would, love them to do great things.
Yeah, of course. Well, United fans would love Ole to do well, wouldn't they? I mean,
yeah, of course.
Obviously he's having his troubles at the moment. Before last night, he went into it and there was doubt about the longevity of his reign. But it's bottom time. And certainly what we hear is he's in it for the long haul. That is what the hierarchy at United insist is going to happen.
Yeah, and that's what they need. And obviously, we said at the start of the appointment, having one of their own was always going to allow him to have more time, because they wouldn't just sort of chuck the boot at someone outside their circle. He is one of theirs. He's a legend at the club. I know that people like him as a person, and obviously everyone wants him to do well. So, and with time, I'm sure he will. But of course, it's a tough job, and the expectations are going to be very high. So, but you walk into them jobs knowing that.
Graham, even though with all due respect, sir, you're in your 70s, you look great, but you still want to tour. You still want to play.
I love it.
Is live best?
Well, it's what I do, so I haven't got any other real outside interests in my work, other than my work. And I feel very fortunate that the 3 things in my work that I do, which is songwriting, recording and touring, I love them all. And it's interesting that whatever I'm doing, because I've just finished making a new record, when I'm doing that, that's like the best thing you can do in the world. But when I'm on tour and playing gigs, that's the best thing I can do.
Good stuff. And it's the full Heartful of Songs tour gets underway Gateshead next year in March, and the standout dates for me 20th, 21st and 22nd, Aberdeen, Edinburgh and Glasgow. You're going to Scotland. There you go. You got to do that.
Yeah, I mean, on this tour I do. So obviously I'm singing 10cc songs that I've written or co-written, and I'm also doing songs that I wrote in the 60s, for the Hollies, Yardbirds, songs I wrote with Andrew Gold, film stuff that I've done, and some new songs as well. And I'm working with 3 other great musicians, and it's more of unlike a 10cc concert, it's a much more laid-back thing. I get to talk about the songs, how the songs were written, which people are always interested to know how they came about, where you got the idea from. So it's and I really enjoy doing it. It's great.
Well, you don't just like cricket, you love it. I wonder if you like baseball, because Graham, Major League Baseball returns to the capital next summer with one of the sport's great rivalries landing in London. MLB and Mitel present the St. Louis Cardinals against Chicago Cubs in back-to-back regular season games at London Stadium, Stratford, June 13 and 14. You could be there thanks to TalkSPORT to be in with a chance to win tickets to one of the great American sports spectacles. Register now on the competition's page at talksport.com to come to air Hawksby and Jacobs tomorrow afternoon to play home run, matching MLB team names with their home cities. That sounds tricky. Tickets for the games are on sale from today. Go to mlb.com/London Series for details. Graham Gouldman, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Absolutely terrific. I really enjoyed it this morning.
Great. Glenn Johnson's going out for